He was the mighty king of Egypt. Possesses hundreds of invincible superpowers, he proclaimed himself a god. Ordinary people can only crawl at his feet, become a slave, but he was hugged by ordinary people, trapped underground for 5,000 years. But when he woke up again, the world has already changed dramatically. An ordinary person who used to be an ant had become the master of the world. Desolate mutants, it becomes a street rat that everyone shouts and beats. It was an insult to him, so he decided to erase with his own hands everything that humanity had rebuilt your empire. I saw him roll his eyes. In an instant, the whole human city was wailing. Spend all your savings on a new house with a loan. It's starting to fall apart, turned into wisps of yellow sand, and it all comes together again. It forms a magnificent pyramid, standing in the center of the city. Then, he made a helmet for sand out of Magneto, and let him use his superpowers to the fullest. As Lao 1's superpowers continue to be released, the Titanic buried deep beneath the sea rise slowly, all the containers on the dock are floating in the air. The young actor suffers again. The Sydney Opera House also fell apart in an instant. The world made of glowing metal began to fall apart. It won't be long. All human civilization will be destroyed. The apocalypse brings the professor into the pyramid, and he had long coveted the ability to teach mind control. He plans to put his consciousness transferred into the professor's body. As long as you have the ability to teach, you can easily control everyone. Rule the earth effortlessly. Soon the X-Men are here too. They were amazed by the big scene in front of them. They decided to split up. Quicksilver brought the magic girl to Lao 1, but the magnetic field around him acts like a spring. They can't get him. Seeing this, the Mystique had to play the emotional card, persuade him to let go of his hatred. Lao 1 was moved by his true feelings. After all, who can refuse a shapeshifter? At the same time, the three of them were just about to rescue the professor. Storm suddenly fell from the sky. He unleashed a powerful hurricane and smashed the car into the cloud. The laser fired the laser to repel it. The monster threw the car back with a backhand. Critical moment, Lindy's handsome appearance. And Storm goes crazy, releasing lightning bolts. Prepare to separate them, break them one by one. Inside the pyramid, the transfer ceremony of the apocalypse had begun. The golden rooms converge towards the two along the lines. Nightwalkers infiltrate pyramids to rescue Professor, but inside the tower is like a maze. He searched for a long time but couldn't find the location. Suddenly an angel appeared to stop him. Fortunately, he used the terrain to successfully trap the angel. At this moment, the consciousness of the apocalypse had begun to invade the professor. The professor kept struggling. I lost all my hair. The consciousness is gradually being occupied. Critical moment. Nightcrawlers appear in time, except for failing to save the professor's hair. The weather that failed to transfer was instantly furious. He chased after him immediately. The next second, everything around seemed to stand still. The fastest man in the history of Mystique had come to the rescue. Wayne uses extreme speed like playing a ball. Beat the apocalypse powerless. But the apocalypse is still superior. He rolled his eyes, binding Quicksilver's feet with sand, broke his leg mercilessly. At this time, the Spirit Butterfly could be expressed willingness to help the Master kill the other. However, just as the apocalypse relaxed its vigilance, Spirit Butterfly suddenly slashed his neck with a sword. It's a pity that the apocalypse extremely strong self-healing. It turns out that the Spirit Butterfly was transformed in the next day. The model language threatened the professor, and seeing that the other party is about to be struck, the professor suddenly thought of a way. Although the transfer failed, but he had nothing to do with the spiritual world of the apocalypse. The professor entered the mind of the apocalypse. The sudden attack caught Apocalypse by surprise. However, the professor still underestimated the other party. The professor looked especially weak in front of him. Just as the apocalypse was about to take the professor, suddenly two pianos fell from the sky and blocked the way. Seeing people magnetic under ray defection. Lao 1 controls the metal to attack the apocalypse. When the laser sees it, he immediately takes off his glasses to cooperate. However, this level of attack can't hurt him at all. The professor in the spiritual world, still battered, powerless to fight back. It seems that everything is a foregone conclusion. Just then, Phoenix can enter their spiritual world. At the same time, in the real world, Zhangtin's eyes are firm and call him boy. At this moment, Love incarnates of endless power surges towards the apocalypse. His mental world was instantly blown to pieces. If you can't resist the attack of Love at night, Lao 1 took the opportunity to replenish. Grandpa Laser makes up for the damage. The sturdy apocalypse wants to teleport away. Unexpectedly, Storm betrayed him at this time. The teleportation ray was finally wrought under the terrifying power of Kim. The apocalypse was completely wiped out. The Spirit Butterfly who was not behind had no choice but to leave silent. At the end, Jean and Lao 1 rebuilt the Mutant Academy. However, due to their different ideas about human beings, Lao 1 and the Professor once again choose to part ways. The new generation of X-Men is officially launched, and they train these sentry robots.